the first time in millions of years, the consciousness of the mass of the people is finally choosing peace over war. This is very timely and will continue. Your planet must begin to release. She must release these footprints of war. She must release the deadly bacteria that is imposed upon her. She must release the poisons. She must balance her gas belts. She must move her magnetic plates, because a new golden age is coming to this earth. People have long crucified themselves in living sub-realities, realities that were not the perfection they were intended to be. It is time to end the crucifixion, for this is what the people have done to themselves and to their planet, and to allow a resurrection. This to occur in a way that your planet assists the rising up of the people into a higher state of consciousness. Your planet, as some of you have heard, she must move. She must make a small and delicate shift, for she adjusts herself, she shifts on her axis, and always intended to be that which supports a higher vibration and frequency of light to be measured within the planet that supports the increased light that is held and generated by the people. A bridge, a window will be open and drawn between your world and our world, what we often call the Ascended Master Realms or higher dimensions. This will allow such divine intervention. This will allow such colossal and luminous rays of light to pour onto the earth. And when the window between your world and the Ascended Master's octave opens, oh dear hearts, the love and the light and the sacred fire that will pour to the earth will be so wonderful. As your earth trembles, there are many forces of the sacred fire that are being projected onto your planet to minimize the devastation, the damage, the frustration, the suffering. Many have lost their lives, and many more will yet. I urge you, dear hearts who are awake, to remember this truth. It may not comfort you, however, it may at least give you understanding that there is no death. There is no death. There is the loss of the physical garment. I can assure you that the life streams that were lost, that those life streams who lost their physical garments were taken up quickly by the angels and nurtured and held in great love. And all of those ones are being prepared. They're being shown the light, so that when they re-embody, when they come back, they will know they have seen the light and love to be the light in their next embodiment. To all you precious hearts awakened around the world, you have a great affinity to light, to love. You can make a difference. You can assist.
Oh yes, we are so blessed. Relax and breathe into consciousness, letting go all the fear and stress. Now is the time for heaven. Unify earth and heaven. One, yes. Oh, Mateo, Lasso Tamale, hey, on a hene away. Spontaneous awakening, one love, everything. Rainbow people, rise up, spread your wings. Unify frequency, living in the harmony. Open up our hearts and together we sing.
We're going to be going into a totally different dimension by raising the frequencies and vibrations of the earth. We will shift into a new dimension. And when this happens, it's like two earths, as though they split. The old earth is left behind with all the negativity and all the chaos. And the new earth separates, and it will be totally new and beautiful.
It's the human experience that we chose to come here and have that actually lends to a very disempowered state when it's time for us to fully wake up. And we've been trying to wake up our entire existence here. But when it's time for us to fully wake up and move beyond the veils of amnesia, then what happens is we start waking up to everything out there that's wrong and everything inside of us that's not okay.
Where'd you run to? You better get back here, girl! Where you at? Where you at?
Dear God, make me a bird so I can fly far, far, far away from here. Dear God, make me a bird so I can fly far, far, far away from here.
Outside of this one church town, there's a gold dirt road to a whole lot of nothing. Got a deed to the land, but it ain't my ground. This is God's country.
And exiting the matrix means identifying everything in our life that doesn't honor us on a soul level, that doesn't honor us for the purity and for what we truly are. Once we start to open our heart, our pineal gland actually starts to come online, and we get access to the other dimensions, part of our multidimensionality, where we actually get to see the constructs of reality and how everything came to be. And so exiting any matrix program is basically identifying and the realization that where we were coming from before was from a place of fear. And then choosing the higher timeline, the higher reality that comes from a place of unity and love inside of ourselves, and not succumbing to the fear and letting that dictate our reality anymore.
Those who are ready, those who are open to this, are the ones who will be going into the new earth by raising the frequencies and vibrations of their body. They have to be willing to learn and to be open to these things. And a lot of this is happening right now.
You had an agreement. You had an agreement that you would come together, know one another, love one another, and figure out what unconditional love really is, what love without condition is. And so, as we were saying earlier, we know this may not feel like a very satisfying answer to you, to any of you now. But if you can hear what we said just a little bit ago, we said the manifestations are, for the most part, they should not be and they don't need to be, but humans use manifestations as conditions to support emotions. And that's what goes wrong with you, because when you use conditions to support good feeling emotions, now you are bound, now you are not free, because you cannot control the conditions that you feel you need to support the emotions. But when you are able to show yourself, and if there was ever a difficult time, this would be it. In other words, we always say to our friends, start with things that are easier. But here you are, you walked right into this, you're blindsided by it. It's something that happened, it's something that you cannot help but observe, and of course it's bringing emotions forth from you. You can be in a state of alignment with all that you are without needing to control the physical outcomes of anything. And once you get that, now here's the part that's a little tricky for you to hear. So we're going to say it, and then we're going to say it, and then we're going to say it, because we want you to get this. When you are able to find alignment unconditionally, and we'll show you how to do it, then your alignment generates conditions that are pleasing. But feel the trap in that, because in the moment your motive is to change the condition so that you can feel better. Now you're twirled up in it in a backwards way. So Abraham, did I hear you right? If I love unconditionally, now instead of using the word unconditional love for a minute, let's use some other words that mean the same thing. Unconditional clarity, unconditional fun, unconditional ease, unconditional alignment. Love, appreciation, alignment, ease, clarity, yes, unconditional alignment. So once you find this unconditional alignment, then things that are in your vortex move into your reality where you can realize them. But until you find it, then they can't. And so can you feel the trap that so many of you put yourselves in? You don't want these kinds of conditions to happen in your experience. We get it. We don't blame you. We don't want those conditions to happen in your experience either. But what we do want is for you to find alignment. And when you do, the conditions will become irrelevant. Right now, you don't believe that. Right now, it feels to you that there are some conditions that are just intolerable. There are some conditions that I'm never going to be down with, Abraham. I'm never going to agree that I can live with that. And the universe isn't testing you, but you were born to be free. You were born to feel good regardless of the conditions. And look at how wadded up you are as a human race. You need those people to be different and those people to be different, and they're not being different, so we'll build a big fence. And they're not being different, so now we'll guard the fence. And they're not being different, and we don't want them to come over here, so we'll put up a bigger fence. And we don't like what they're doing over there, so we'll just drop some bombs on them, and we'll just threaten them, and we'll just wrestle them to the ground, and we'll just kill them, because there are all these conditions that we need to change so that we can live happily ever after. And how happily ever after are you living in all of that, pushing against all of that other stuff? You got no choice if you want to live happily ever after, other than to come in alignment with who you are. And when you come into alignment with who you are, the conditions become irrelevant to your alignment, and then in your alignment, the conditions blossom to your pleasing. That's how it works.
What is something that I can do that will enhance my ability to find and stabilize and maintain my alignment and allow that momentum to build?
All right, here it is.
So that what I have in the vortex manifests.
Here it is. We don't want to be flippant about it. Try less, which requires a conscious trusting that the process works and that your life has put it there, and that it's real and it's big and it's becoming, and that it's yours, and that it's not going anywhere. It's not going to get away from you. So your work is not to try to think about it. Your work is to focus yourself into a state of allowing it into your experience. And what we want everyone to understand about everything that they desire is that they have already created what they want, and now they have to find a path of least resistance, or a path of most allowance to it, which means you can't keep regurgitating how things are, because your awareness of how they are is what's preventing you from going where you want to go. And that's why we say, you got to chill. We want you to accept that the process is real. We want you to accept that you've already done that step one. You have done the asking, and that step two has been accomplished because your inner being has been all over it, and the resources of the universe and the law of attraction have already gathered all of the cooperative components, no matter what it is that you are creating, whether it's a love with someone, whether it's an empire, whether it's a big pile of money, whether it's something material. It doesn't matter what the desire is. It has been vibrationally accomplished. Now humans, you get out there ahead of yourself because it doesn't feel accomplished to you until you can see it. And so you keep looking for it where it isn't, and then you keep coming to the expectation that it's hard, or that it's slow, or that it's going to take more goal setting. I just need to be more clear. I want something. I want this thing that I do not have, and I want this thing that I do not have, and I want it to come quickly because I'm uncomfortable in not having it. Okay? Well, that gets you nowhere. That just nails your feet to the floor and holds you in this place. And so you have to accept that it is vibrationally done. And if something is done, don't you want to move toward it? And can you move toward it and away from it at the same time? And can you feel that if you feel frustration, if you feel tension, that you're moving away from it, and that when you relax, you're moving toward it? Can you feel the difference? When you say, I'm going to tune in and I'm going to take this alignment and then I'm going to accomplish this, you point right at the problem that needs to be overcome. But when you are looking for the pleasure of it, now you've just broken through the atmosphere. Now you're feeling the release of it. And now you're letting the universe have its way with you, which requires trust that you're worthy, and trust that your inner being knows what you want, and trust that the cooperative components have been gathered, and trust that you're going to like it as you move along. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and as you're using the word trust, I'm realizing that I don't.
You know why? Expectation. People let you down. You put your trust in others who don't hold you as their steady object of attention. This is what happens with almost all of you. You trust another human to make you their priority, and it defies the selfish nature that all are born with. Everyone is selfishly inspired because they are attracting to their point of attraction. And so what did we describe as we began today? You and you. Your inner being is you. Your inner being is attracting to you, you see. And so that's why we use words like trust the process, trust the feeling, trust the laws of the universe, trust the law of attraction. And in time, you will trust your worthy nature. You will trust the love that the universe has for you. You will trust the well-being of your life experience. You will trust it. Trust is the only word Esther can find that means what you will understand as we focus upon this. You see, you can look, you can see with your eyes and smell, you can see and hear and smell and taste and touch. And so that's a reality that you acknowledge is real. But what's over here in the vortex, your physical senses can't see it or hear it or smell it or taste it or touch it. Yes. And so it requires a trust. Well, what is that? Abraham, you're asking me to now blindly not look and not see and not hear and not smell and not taste and not touch. You're asking me to not use any of the resources that I am comfortable in using, and to look somewhere where I can't see it. Just take your word for it that it's over there. And we say, that's why we use the word trust. But in a little while, it won't be a stretch to trust it, because you will identify the feeling of love when it's there, the feeling of confidence. You'll come to rely or trust the emotions. And as we explain to you the way the laws of the universe work, and then we speak to you about things that you can feel, you understand the difference between the way loving someone feels and the way hating someone feels. This isn't trust. This is stuff you know. Your guidance system works and you know it. So we're just asking you to trust that when it feels good, it is, and when it doesn't feel good, it isn't. That when it feels good, you're moving in the direction of who you really are and what you want and what you've expanded to, and when it doesn't feel good, you're not. So it doesn't require trust in the sense that you're flying blind. Not at all. Instead, you've got guidance within you that is letting you know, whew, this feels good.
Serve to remember, nothing left to lose. The universal's gratitude, it's up to us to choose. Choose to stay humble, yeah, we're still growing. Gaze upon the stars, yeah, cause Jah is ever knowing. Before you ask a question, look into your heart. Answers coming from the heavens, nothing sets us apart. We're one tribe, a human family. You inspire me to be a higher me. Lights in you, lights in me, lights in the children of our future to be. Source of love, a burning flame. No negativity will ever change. I want to be calm and belong. You gotta open up and let it go. Let it flow from the top of your head to the tip of your toe. You gotta open up and let it go. Let it flow from the top of your head to the tip of your toes. Yeah, dance around when you hear this sound. 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 Yeah, love, 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 love Love is the only way.
If you feel less than perfect, let me tell you straight. Perfection is bullshit. And what you want is progress, which you already have. So give yourself a break.